Go.
It's time to go.
We're on? Hey! It's Festool Friday! Are we really on?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to get rid of my stick. Oh my goodness, what a great Friday. Hey, everybody. It's Festool Live. It's noontime. And I guess we're on. I hope everybody had a great week. We did here in Lebanon, Indiana at Festool headquarters in North America. We're living large in Lebanon, baby. The trees are blooming. It's springtime. I hope in your neck of the woods you're having a great year. Okay, so let's announce the room because we got a lot planned today. Over here is Big D.
Hey, everybody.
All right. On the camera, we have Chris the Unit Seibert. Online, we have Brent Shively. He's working online chat. And right over here, we have our geography expert, Garrett Sato, working a whiteboard because Minnie, I think, is on vacation.
Sure.
Woo, baby. Okay, don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Also, this live event will live on Instagram and Facebook afterwards. And don't forget to hit that wonderful notification bell. Hey, and please friend us on Facebook. And please support us on Instagram. We appreciate it. Hey, that's it for marketing. Okay, so don't forget to tell us where you're from. We've been working on pronunciations all week. And Garrett's been helping me because he's a native Hawaiian. And I've been practicing my Hawaiian. And we're going to have a little pronunciation key at the end, aren't we, Garrett? Look, he's loving it. All right. Okay, so today, somebody was asking me on the phone yesterday, what's the Festool Live? We did a little live this morning on Instagram. You probably know it's about face frame joinery. There's a lot of ways to put together the joinery of a face frame. Today we're going to be using a domino. And every time we've taught a class on cabinetry, I've gone through on Festool Live building this up a cabinet, which is frameless. Okay? You know why you call it frameless? Derek, do you know why?
Because it doesn't have a frame.
Oh, now you're talking. Okay, so the base cabinet, we build the base cabinet, we build a face frame. And I always go back to the first cabinet class we ever taught. And this dude came up to me, he says, man, I don't use a domino to build my face frames. I use pocket holes. I go, oh, cool, that's kind of cool. And he goes, but I would never build it with a domino. I go, hey, that's kind of cool. And he started laughing. I go, this is Festool. We're going to use a domino. But what he took away from the class was all the tips and tricks that I'm going to show you today of little nuances on the domino and how to select maybe a domino, glue line, how to set up for clamping on it. And one of the top questions we have is, what the heck is this knob here? And how do I select between tight and loose settings? Why do I go between tight and loose? If you take away anything from this Festool Live today, I want you to take away the precision of the machine and using your eye for alignment. Okay? Because that's the difference in my eyes, no pun intended, is how to select between tight and loose. I always, when I use the precision of the machine, majority of the time I'm using the tight setting. When I'm using my eyes, I'll go loose if I don't need shear strength. So follow me on this today, this little journey I'm going to take you on laying out a face frame, because this is the face frame we're going to build. We're going to use 6x40 dominoes, 6 being the thickness, 40 being the length. Let's do a little metric to kick it off. Big D, what's half of 40?
20.
My God, he's good at metric. Let's step over here, and I'm going to wheel my STM over, because I just love doing a lot of my layout on this. And we're going to get it into a place where you guys can see this. And I'm just going to wheel it right over. So what I did is I pre-cut all my material just to save time. These styles here, we have 2 side styles and we have a center style. And these are our rails going horizontally between the styles. Okay. This is 768 millimeter. For the United States and North America, it's 30 1/4, your typical height of your base cabinet. Okay? So I always cut my material, my rail and style material, at 50 millimeter, roughly 2-inch for North America. Okay? And I have 3 pieces at 668 to make it a 768 by 768 face frame. Follow me on here. Now, the reason I'm telling you all of this is because what's critical are these two pieces right here. Okay? Those are your drawer rails. Okay, so let's step over here. And through the course of teaching this class in cabinetry, for quite a few years here at Festool, I have seen so many people fumble and bumble when they're starting to do their layout. So I cut out my pieces and parts right here. These are critical. These are 114 millimeter. These are my gauge blocks for my drawer box opening. Okay, but remember, what? Rails go between styles, okay? Just like I showed you on a shaker flat panel door or any door. Okay, so I have my 768 pieces here. I'm going to show you this because I want to show you how to label correctly. I chose the grain earlier, okay, and I labeled my parts, okay? And when I say I labeled my parts, I put the lengths on these so I wouldn't get confused. I wrote center style here so I wouldn't get confused, all right? Excuse me. And I know that those are what I will always teach people. That is the face. I labeled my 309 pieces like that. That's the face. Because when I do my layout, if I take my time, maybe 5-10 minutes extra in layout, then when I get to do the joinery or the mortising with the domino, I don't even have to think about it. And there's a lot to this, so I mortise correctly. I want to go through some of the mistakes that I have made over the years so you don't have to make them. By the way, you're still going to make them if you don't pay attention. Okay, so here we go. One of the things I do when I'm doing a layout, because I told you earlier, these are your critical pieces. And this happened in a class, the second class we did this, and I just could not stop laughing. Okay, so I'm just going to tighten this clamp on here. All right? So I know where to start with this. I'm just going to bring this in here. And I'm just going to bring it together. All right, just like this. I got my center style in there. I'm going to make sure everything is even right where I need it. Okay, and I'm going to tighten it up. Okay, so here's what's critical. And this is what I saw in one of the very first classes. I'm going to put my first 309 in here, like this. Okay, and I want to show you what happened. I'm just going to move over here, Chris, and pick up this piece. This is what I mean by gauge blocks. I don't have to think about my drawer opening. See that? And these will also be critical when you go into glue up. So I'm just going to knock this over here like this and bring this in. Now here's what I'm going to show you. This is critical. See how that fits absolutely perfect? I have a couple of pieces here that may have been miscut. And you see how I'm not messing around at all here? I have this in the clamp, so I have a solid frame to start with. I saw two guys in class doing this. Okay, they put it in here like this. And they didn't cut these precisely. And look at this. Chris, can we get this? Or Derek, can we get this?
Oh, yeah.
You see how this was a little too tight? Okay, so what happened is they said they did all their layout. And they said, to heck with it. That's what clamps are for. And when they were putting this together, I'm going to try to emulate this. They had their pieces in here in their joinery. And check this out. Hopefully, Derek, you can get this. They had a space down here like this. Okay? I call this my dry fit story because I'll tell you what, this was funny as heck. I saw these guys taking these clamps. See the space here? Look over here. See this? Mm-hmm. That's why these are critical. Okay? See that space? They were going like this, and they put so much torque on there. The next day when we popped them out of glue up, they started saying it with the RO90. It was the funniest daggone thing you've ever seen. All of a sudden, you could hear it a mile away. It went ping, and the face frame broke. So don't think that that glue's going to hold a gap like this in tension as you bring it all the way in. That's just too much tension in the frame. So what I'll do is I'll take these pieces out, and here's the mistake I've seen too many people make. Okay, they'll take one of these, bring them over to the K-Pex like this, and take a little bit off and leave this one back here. And that's a no-no. And the reason that's a no-no is because now that center style is now off. Okay? So when you cut these, you make sure when you cut them, you make sure it's perfectly even here, and you cut them simultaneously to fit them in. Hopefully you see that. I'm just going to lock this down. This does need to be taken off, and you take off ever so slightly so those fit, okay? But cut them the same at the same time. Now I'm going to put some pressure back in here because I've already done this because I'm going to go into my layout. Hopefully you all followed that. And I'm just going to bang this in just a little. Okay, and this has to be banged in just a little so I can do my layout. Now, over the course of the last year, by the way, do you know this is episode? You know what episode this is?
50.
This is episode number 50. Over the course of the year, I've taught shaker flat panel. I've taught a variety of things on how to use this. I call it my center line block. This is 50 millimeter stock. Garrett, what's half of 50? Man, he's good. He's now in Mr. Metric for the rest of the day. He's wicked good at this. Okay,
He's
so
that good.
I scribed this, and this is the whole block I need, A, to do my layout here, and 2, to set up my domino with what? The trim stop. So as I go through this, I'm not going to go through all of it, but I want to show you how simple it can get. Let me get my drawer box rails in here. Just get those all tidied up because I'm going to do the layout. And it's really easy as I put this together. Let me get that right in here. Let me get my gauge blocks in here, the 114, just like this, and get it all set up for you. Okay, so I'm ready to rock and roll. And now this is in the center. I take this, and here's where I'm going to start labeling everything. The better you label, the easier your joinery is going to go. So I'm just going to take this, and I'm not going to go through all of it. Chris, we decided right here, these are the ones I'm going to get on video for all of us. I'm going to bring that, the top of my cab or my face frame, I'm going to make a mark here. Okay? But as I go through this, I have to label this. L, tight. You see how I didn't put a center line there? This is how I'm going to set up what? The gauge block. Trim stop. So I'm going to go like this. I'm going to make one here, and you'll see I made one there. I'm going to come over here. I'm going to make these marks like this on my styles, okay, because that's the critical one, okay, but I'm going to label LL. I'll label these. Look, I'm going to come over here. I'm kind of backwards on this, Chris, but I'm going to come in like this, and I'm going to label this over here. Sorry, buddy. I got to come over here. Sorry, everybody. I'm getting a... You got overhead on this? Thanks. I'm just going to make one mark, and then what I'll do is I'll extend it across. L, this is going to be, I want to do the center style with you, but here's the other critical part that everybody forgets. Look, I made a mark down here on my center style. I'm going to make it up here. And if I mark these just like this, guess what? I don't have to think about it. That's loose. That's going to be tight, 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 loose, 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 tight, loose, 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 tight. I think I got them all labeled. Okay, and you'll understand all of this momentarily. I think I got it all labeled. Oh, one more. Tight and loose. So when I take it out, I'm just going to take these off just like this. Set them up for the future. Woo! Man. Whew. Anybody going on vacation soon? Mr. Chris. All right, good man. Good man. Okay. Let's see how I'm going to do this. I'm going to take this. And what I'm going to do, you see this, how I have this line here for the center line? When I use the gauge block, I'm going to bring it all the way across. But here's the other thing I have to tell you. Okay? This is so important, everybody. Pay attention. When I get over to the Vaxis and I'm starting to do all my joinery, see how I have that? That's the inside. Here's the other reference I'm going to mark. That's my inside. Look. That's my inside. And that's my inside. So you see how I extend those lines just like this? See how I'm just taking my time? Look, I'm just bringing it over here like this. I'm going to go all the way across. This piece is ready to rock and roll. This piece, look, I'm going to do 3 here. And I'm not going to do all these mortises today. I'm just going to do a variety. A simple batch. As I told everybody, this one, I'm all set up. I know that's end grain. That's going to be tight. I'm going to do this one, this one. Let's do this, because that's tight. And let's do this. So what I'll do is I'll do the center style. And what I'll do is I'll do 2 top and bottom rail. And I'll do one of the draw box rails. Okay? So I'm going to take that over here. Let's get all my parts just like this. So I know what I'm doing. Hello. Okay. Now, let's set up the machine. Let's get all my parts the way I need them. I'm just going to circle this like this because I know that's the two I want to go into here. Perfect. And I know, because this is the one I want, right? That's my inside. So I'm going to face that toward me. But the ones I'm going to do first, as I talk through this, is that I'm going to use this. We call this the trim stop. I'm going to do on end grain, I am going to do a mortise that's 20 millimeters in depth, okay? But I am going to do them all at the same time, and I'm going to do them quite quickly because I'm using this. And I'm going to work off the center line, okay? I am going to use, I said this in the very beginning, the precision of the machine, okay? I'm not going to rely on these. So I'm going to set my height right here at 20 millimeters, okay? That's the thickness of my material. Okay, I set my depth at 20, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip this over so you can see this. See that? That's my center line, and that's my center line. So I took my gauge block, and I lined it up. There's the center, just like this, and these are independently adjustable. I'm going to bring that right in, so that's exactly on center, so I don't have to think about it. See that? So as long as I know what? The face, where to put the plate on the face of my material, I have it. I could do all my tights all at once. Okay? So the only thing I gotta do is get some power to her. I'm using a 6x40, so I already changed the bit yesterday on there. Okay? Remember, when you put a plug-in cord on there, it's a full quarter turn, and you always make sure your machine is cycled off before you put electricity to it. Okay, let's see if I got power here. I just checked it with my Bluetooth. Okay, let's get my Vaxis going. Okay, so I'll never forget when we first got the Vaxis and we were doing these classes, I was like, why is it going so quick? And I go, it's because of the Vaxis. It really speeds up the clamping and unclamping. So let's do this one first. See how I don't have to think about it? I know that's my face, and I know that's tight and tight. So I'm just going to take that, put it on there like that. I'm going to turn on my machine, and I'm going to switch it to the tight setting. It should always be running when you're switching between settings. So I'm just going to take that. Look, I don't even have to think about this. Look. And you see how I'm working off the material? Whoop. Let me get a little tension off of there. Okay, now, this is why you mark the face, okay? I just plunged in here and created that tight mortise, right? If this wasn't marked, I have seen this so many daggone times. People go like this and make the next mortise, okay? What we teach everybody is helicopter it, okay? Just flip it around, and you'll see how easy that is, just like this. Okay, and that was tight, right? Now, the center style, that's why I labeled it, I have two of them that have that tight setting, here and here. By the way, that's the one everybody forgets. Okay, so I'm going to take that, bring it right in. Make that mortise, flip it around. That's why the Vaxis is wonderful in this application. Okay, I got it mortised and mortised. 1 and 2, 3 and 4. How many did I say I needed, guys? Oh, I'm going to do 5 and 6 because this is my top rail and bottom rail, and I got to do those as well. I guess I'm doing extra than when I said in the dry run. But what the heck? It's Friday. It's almost the weekend. For some of you, it's probably the weekend. And with a domino, it's just a wonderful tool to use. Okay, so there we go. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do these because I'm going to be using my eye, right? So I am just going to take this like this, remove the plate. Okay, I always verify that. Okay, and then I'm going to put it in a loose setting. Okay, so this is done. Just like that, I'm going to put that over here. Let's do the rails, and we got to do those loose. Which ones do I have? This is the one I don't need, right? I believe so. Okay, did I do that? Okay, so here's where we got to be cool with it. Did I choose the right one? I think I did. Let's just verify that. I'm going to take it. Okay, so actually, this is fun. I'm going to just make sure I get all of them done tight and tight. Oh, yeah, I got it right. That's my top and bottom. So what I'm going to do, and this is, remember that little V? That's my inside, isn't it?
Yep.
So this is where I need to make my mortises. That is where it gets confusing. I was already starting to get confused. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put that on here just like this, okay? And now, because I'm using my eye, I put it in the middle setting. And you'll see that in a minute. There's my mark. I'm just going to bring it right over here like this. I put my thumb on there to make sure that that is nice and steady on there. Okay, making sure I'm good. And I'm going to make that mortise right here like this. And I'm going to make this mortise. Good? And you'll see how this goes together. Now, you'll see how I have a little wiggle room in here. Good? There's my top and bottom. Now, I have this. This is my center style, right? Okay? I got to go from both sides. Okay? So I'm going to come in here like this. I'm going to grab that line. And then I'm going to whip it around like this and grab this line. I think I got all my mortises. Let's just verify really quick that I wanted to do. I'll show you in the glue up station where we have them all together. Okay, so there's my center style. I got these two done. You know what? Let's just put half of it together. Look, there's my V groove. So I'm going to move this right here, because guess what this is? This is where the center style goes in. And you know what? I can go through a basic assembly with you so you can see this. That way there you can see the process on the glue up. And it just takes a couple of seconds extra to do these two mortises. See how quick this is? Look how easy this is. Wow, Garrett. You got a lot of places on there today, eh? Holy moly. Okay, so let's get these basic pieces over here, and let's go through this. So I have this piece. Now, here's another tip I'm going to give you. Always dry assemble. I think I've said that almost every build series we've done. And I'm going to use a 6x40 here. Okay, now, I hear this all the time, and I got to look around. Oh, my God, I hear this all the time. See how tight that is going in? All right? Never do this. Never take, because this is where your glue line, that's where your long grain and long grain adhesion hit on the face of your domino. If you're having a tough time with your dominoes, look at this. See how there's a little rib on there? Is that coming in? See that little rib? Knock that off a little. It makes dry fit a little bit easier, and you can use the same dominoes. Now look how easy that goes in there. Okay, you're not losing anything with that. All right, and I'll just put that in there like that. Okay, so there's one. Okay. And here we go. I'll start a little bit of assembling. I have all my, see how that just goes in like that? Boom, like that. Look, my faces are lining up nice and flat. Let's grab one of these. This is my, I think, my bottom. Okay, let's see how that goes in. Yep, there we go. That goes in just like this. Okay, I think this is my top, right? Let's do that. You always see how I'm always putting it in the tight first? That way there you have wiggle room for alignment. So let's do this. Watch. That goes in there like, look how that face just lines up perfect. Now, what's going to happen is the reason you want the wiggle room, it's simple. You're going to get the adhesion on the long grain to long grain. You don't need, once that goes on the cabinet, there's no racking. It'll never break apart, okay? What you want to do is you just want it to get it perfectly. And that's why you have that wiggle room in there, because you're using your eyes. In the early days, I was trying to get it all of them tight, and I was having a heck of a time getting alignment. This just speeds it up really easy. Okay, now here's the trick. This one right here, see how we have both sides done with the mortises? Okay. I'm going to put one in here. The tight, right? Because we got them in the tights. We got to... the tight mortises. That just doesn't sound right. We got them in the tights. Okay, look. I got wiggle room here. And this is the right orientation, by the way. Okay? I'm going to start to get this one in here. And now you have that little wiggle room in there to get that center style, to get in all the mortises. And then that'll go right into glue up. This is why when you go into glue up, you have these little gauge blocks to get a perfect. Now, someone will say, do you take a square to this? And in class, I say, you can if you want. Okay, but here's what I'll tell you. When you use a super accurate miter saw, set at 0 and your bevel's at 0, that's a square cut. If you have all your material ripped at 50 millimeter. By putting it in here, using gauge blocks, it's going to be square. So everybody would contradict me and say, no, it's not going to be. I said, I always take one group and say, hey, leave it alone. And then at the end, after glue up, they take it out and it'll be perfectly square. You start with square parts. It ends up square, okay? But you can always check. So I just want to point that out. That's half the face frame. See how quick that was? I think I did that under 20 minutes after gabbing too much. All right? Now, the other thing I want to teach you about is I've seen this too many times in class. I have all my dominoes in this face frame, right? And then I would see somebody like this take a clamp like this, bring it in, and do this. In this glue up, you need 4 clamps. And I would see somebody clamp like that. That is a big no-no. Because what you're doing is you're putting pressure in this span, and that's compressing it like this. So you're weakening the joint. You always take it and put it across where you need that pressure. See this? Just like this. I mean, it sounds simple, but I've seen so many people make this mistake. Okay? And then where's the other clamp? Of course, right across here like this. Okay? And there you go. So the nice thing about this, okay, when you use it like this, let me just do this. You can actually use this clamp like this. Just get it in there. Whoopsie. Let's back it up. Hey, maybe I should have set my clamps up earlier, eh? Look, get it in there like this. Get it all set up. Come on, Brian. What's going on? There we go. Okay, once you get it all set up, you know what's nice about it? If you put all your feet down like this, check this out. You can stand this up just like this and out of the way. Hey, Mo! All right. So there you go. That's how you build a face frame with the domino system. Whew! I would imagine, Brent, you got all those questions?
Oh, he's killing it.
He is. I bet you there was a lot of questions out there. Okay, so what do I do? Oh, do I do a wrap? It's 25 minutes. We're good? We're good on time? Were there any questions that you needed to put on there? No? Okay, so let's do it. So I'm going to see if I remember this pronunciation, Mr. Sato. Okay, so. Okay, he was trying to tell me, hey, this is a good one because you can't pronounce anything. Kalanalanuli, Hawaii. Say it again. Kalanaanaole. It's a highway in what island? Oahu. Okay, so I want to thank you for tuning in, but I want to call out where you're from. Okay, here we go. Trinidad, Tobago, Kalanalanuli, Katy, Texas, Scotland, Bear, Delaware, Albuquerque, New Mexico, Fort Wayne, Birmingham, UK. You got good handwriting, dude. Lindby, Denmark, Cypress, Texas, Orlando, Florida, Atlanta, Georgia, Swadlin Coat, England, Long Island, New York, Tacoma, Washington, Wiltshire, England, Wicklow, Ireland, baby. Hey, I'm going there. San Juan, Puerto Rico, Mogadishu, Somalia. Man, I don't think we've had Somalia yet. Yolarvi, Finland. Yeah, baby. I looked that one up. Okay, Malta. How you doing, Christopher? Fenton, Michigan. I think that's you, Martin. Whitestone, New York, British Virgin Islands. East Yorkshire. That's Ian. How you doing, Mr. Harrison? Bermuda, Morgan Hill, Rolla, Missouri, Eatonton, Georgia, Deer Isle, Maine. Yeah, baby, boy, that's a pretty place, guys. All right, Ferndale, Washington, Ottawa, Canada. How you doing, Philip? Cali, Colombia, Estonia. What else we got? Oribo, Sweden. Dorking, UK. Evergreen, Colorado. Raymond, Maine. And that's a pretty place, too. You're putting stuff up there that I can't pronounce. Zystook, Hungary. Moreland, Kansas. County Math, Ireland. Pumbenville, Australia. Jurgen, Netherlands. What's that? Okay. Wake Forest, North Carolina. Channel Isle, France. Yeah, baby. Homestead, Sweden. Luxembourg. Queensland, Australia. Vaxjo. Really? You're making up pharmaceutical names, dude. Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Norwalk, Connecticut. Rochester, Michigan. Anywhere else on the back? Okay. So, everybody, I want to thank you. Thank you for taking us all the way to number 50. We're going to continue with Festool Live. Woo! We love you. I want to say thanks to everybody here at Festool North America.
Yes, thank you.
Festool Worldwide, thank you. Garrett, thank you. We miss you, Minnie. And we'll see you next week. We love you guys. Thank you for tuning in. That's a wrap for Festool Live on Friday. What's the date?
April 9th.
April 9th.
Episode 50.
Episode 50. We'll see you later.